Well, hello everyone. It's April the 13th today, and this was yesterday in the space weather news. Solar max might arrive early. This is exciting. I mean, you know, we are in this powerful build-up with that many sunspots right now, flares every week or so, at least a few M flares. And here you see that's where we presently are. Arriving at the solar max, this was the original prediction here around early 2025, in the first months of 2025. Now, this prediction was based on a totally different model. The other prediction, which seems to be very well on track, is this one, which predicts an early solar maximum. This is exciting. It really is what we generally experience, a condensation, an acceleration. So many things are happening just in one single day. It's crazy. We cannot keep up really with life anymore, it seems. It's very demanding on many levels, and it's just, I guess it gets to that extreme place where you just have to allow things and let go and trust that things will fall in place, and they will. And that's what astrology shows. That's what I'm here for. I want to show you how you really can kind of, yes, stay in whatever the mode you are of action and accomplishing whatever tasks there are in your life, but knowing that there's a greater frequency band which carries us all in the right direction. That's what I want to show you here, because, well, I quickly want to go through this article because it is pretty interesting as such. So let's read it quickly together. Solar maximum is coming maybe this year. New research by a leading group of solar physicists predict maximum sunspot activity in late 2023 or early 2024, a full year earlier than other forecasts. This is based on our work with the termination event, explains Scott McIntosh, lead author of a paper. And you can go to the space weather page. It's on today's page. If you don't find it, if you look tomorrow, you will go to the archive, which is here. You can see there's an archive here on the side where you can put in any date you wish, and then you can read that article again, just in case you want to get deeper into this, because it's super interesting. Anyway, that's where you will find that full paper, published in January 2023 edition of Frontiers in Astronomy and Space Sciences. So this is cutting edge understanding of the sun. Now again, here you see in this graphic the three latest solar cycles. Every 11 years we have a solar max approximately. This one here in the early 2000, 2002, 2003. Then the last one was around 2012, 13. And again, this one is predicted for peaking as early as late this year, early 2024. And this is the time when Pluto will enter Aquarius finally, and heliocentrically and geocentrically within a couple days, which I will show you. I really wanted to show you these charts, but before we go there, so hang in there. It is worth going through this whole little paragraph here, because it's extremely interesting. So here you have again the two latest solar cycles in a different analysis here. Watch these lines. This is where the termination shock is happening, which we just get here to be explained. Termination event, that's what they based their whole prediction on, is a relatively new concept in solar physics. Again, you can read more on that here in this link. It is a period of time on the sun as short as 1 month within the 11-year cycle, when magnetic fields from one solar cycle abruptly die. They are terminated, allowing magnetic fields from the next solar cycle to take over. And you have to understand, this is something really particular about the sun. Every 11 years the magnetic field shifts from south-north to north-south. So this is probably one of the most powerful underlying rhythms of nature, that 11 years we are polarized with north above and 11 years we are polarized with south above. It is that constant switchover that also explains the kind of recognized power of the numbers 11 and 22, which are called master numbers. That's the every 22 years, in that sense, we are in the same state, again, north-north, versus 11 years apart, we are on the other side of the sine wave. So anyway, there is this 1 month within the 11-year cycle when the magnetic field dies down to 0 and then starts rebuilding in the reversed polarity, really initiating the next 11-year cycle. Kind of it's the gestation period, and it is this interesting little formation here we see in both these cycles, which seems to be again typical. It is almost like the edge of a new fractal. If you think of the Mandelbrot mandalas, they have a very similar appearance. In a way, this also looks to me like a womb. So this is the whole being, so to say, the whole 11-year cycle, and then it enters into this womb, into this cocoon phase, and rebuilds, prepares for what's to come, which then will be born at the solar minimum. No, I'm saying it wrong. That's the solar maximum. So interestingly enough, right, this just happened. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm learning too, you see. This is all really an amazing field of research as such. So anyway, you can read the whole paper. Let's quickly continue here as we were reading. So after a termination event, a new solar cycle skyrockets. Okay, that's what it is. This is giving the final firing for the maximum to reach its full manifestation. McIntosh and colleagues have studied termination events for many solar cycles, and they have discovered that its timing can predict the future. Our latest work pinpoints the termination event between solar cycle 24 and solar cycle 25 happened at mid-December 2021. Okay, that would be here. That was mid-December 2021. This tells us about the size and date of the next solar maximum. According to their paper, solar maximum is coming between late 2023 and mid-2024 with a peak total monthly sunspot number of 184 plus minus 63 with a 95% confidence. This means solar cycle 25 could be twice as strong as solar cycle 24, which peaked back in 2014, 2012 till 2014, yes. And if we go back here once more, this was the peak here. And that was a relatively minor cycle. You see the solar, the number of sunspots was way below what it was. Sorry about that. I'm rarely getting phones at this time of the day. Anyway, so let's go into the charts here. I guess I read you the whole thing. Yes, there is. Yes, I mean, we could go on, but you can read that yourself again. Spaceweather.com. This is April the 13th. Okay, now what happens in that time? Yes, this is when Pluto enters Aquarius. This, for the second and final time, will be in there till 2044 for, well, maybe not quite, but at least 15, I guess it's 20 years more. No, 15 years, yeah. Anyway, approximately. Long, many years. Those 15 years, even if it's just 15, which will bring the big change, I can guarantee that. I mean, we are just really at the cusp. in that gestation period in a bigger way too of what's to come. 2026, as I understand, have been writing about since 2016. Watch out, 2026 will be really the opening into a new reality. We are in this final stage, as I showed, which matches predictions by the Nine and other spiritual energies who have been giving messages. 2020 till 2023, that was the first big chapter of the change, and now 2023 till March 2026 is the second, and we are now in really the year of the big shift, I would call it. Whatever comes after will be catching up to the process. It's a 7-year, and this makes lots of sense that the big shift should happen in a 7-year. And again, it's just amazing to see that now the solar max also is early and already happening at the end of this year. So the 7-year, the 7 is kind of in between the 6 and the 8, which are both structural numbers. Very fixed patterns. The 7 is in that fluid middle zone where we are opening to a whole new dimension. It is that idea of infinity which comes in with the 7. The 7 is at the top of the pyramid, of the time pyramid. In the Mayan calendar we have 13 days. The 7th day is almost always on top of the pyramid. It's the resonant energy where everything starts resonating with one another and each other and everything else, and it is so timely that this is the initiation of the Aquarian energy, which is all about frequencies. So it's matching on all levels. Now you see, this is really exciting that Pluto would enter the sign of Aquarius just within less than 12 hours of the Sun having entered it. So it's a perfect Pluto-Sun conjunction. The Sun actually is moving away from Pluto already in this conjunction, which is a release phase. So this is as powerful a conjunction as there can be. Separating is always when we have gone through the 0 point in that sense of integration of energies and now are in the release phase of whatever has been seeded into the solar field. The solar consciousness is now getting released. And as you definitely note here, this is exactly where Jupiter and Saturn met in December of 2020 at 0 degrees 26 or 29. It was most exact here. So this in itself, that this happens on the same day within 12 hours with that extreme close conjunction of Sun and Pluto, is a sign. This is a very, very powerful shift which is occurring around that time, and naturally with the 0 meridian chart and the Greenwich location as being again 1/7 away from the equator. Again, that's where the 7 comes in there. 5126 is the exact septile. That's why this place is so special on the 0 meridian, and naturally the northern hemisphere is more prominent in general if we look at the fractal for Earth, because 90% of the inhabitants on this planet are living on the northern part, in the northern hemisphere. Very important, a little detail to know. Anyway, this is a super powerful chart in itself of Haumea here. Haumea I will make a special second video about in a few days. This is one of the key factors of this present eclipse, by the way. We will get there in my next video, so I have a few lined up here. So just a short few things to this chart here. In addition to the Sun-Pluto conjunction, we have Venus most exactly conjunct the galactic center. Actually, just a few hours later, you see this is 057 on the 21st of January, and at 1:52 less than an hour later, Venus is exactly at the galactic center. That is this chart here. You see we have the same rising sign in both charts, so there it's just pretty much dead on exact that when Pluto enters Aquarius, starts its upgraded version in manifesting through that sign. Now we are kind of in the primal phase, this short period between March 23rd and June the 11th. As you know, these 11 weeks where Pluto is now dipping into gives us a taste of what's to come. But this is then really the final initiation. And let me just quickly scan through the charts. We will go back to this one in a minute, but just showing you this is an hour later. And then just 1 day later, heliocentric. Now I should change that, 1 sec. That's what I want to show you here. Okay, that's the heliocentric chart now. On the 22nd of January, that's when Pluto enters Aquarius heliocentrically. Now this is really the most powerful moment, because in the heliocentric perspective, planets always move direct, always forward. So there's only one moment when a planet enters a new sign as seen from the perspective of the Sun, and this will happen on January the 22nd, 2024. Again, you see, just 1.5 days after Pluto had entered as seen from Earth's perspective. You see that is 057, and this is on the 22nd, 12:34. So this is extremely rare. Something similar happened actually with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in 2020, and you know how powerful that was. Within a day, with actually two days, Saturn and Pluto had met geocentrically on the 10th of January, I guess, and on the 12th it was heliocentric. So when that happens, means the Sun is involved. It's in the axis of Sun and Earth naturally. That's the most powerful alignments we have. So let's have a quick peek more at the geocentric manifestation, which is really how we perceive what these energies, how they are showing themselves, what form they will take. Now, Mars here is powerfully placed in Capricorn in the Taurian dwad, in a trine with the black moon here, and also in aspect with Chariklo here at the 4th house cusp, actually most exactly here, 1225. Chariklo, Chiron's wife, as the myth tells us, a feminine energy of compassion, a midwife helping us to enter this new frequency band. Definitely so. I mean, Chariklo has been preparing us on many levels, is preparing us since, I guess, 2019, when she first entered Aquarius, about for 6 to 7 years being in the sign. So Chariklo, Mars, and then the 4th house cusp, naturally the black moon. This is all in resonance. Mars is able to make things happen in Capricorn. It is one of the best placements for Mars to leave an imprint in this universe to make things real. And with the Scorpionic ascendant here with Haumea, which is that really special character. Actually, I just discovered Haumea as dragon energy. That it actually, its shape is like a dragon's eye. Egg or eye, I guess they're both having a similar shape. I wanted to say egg. Let me just show you here quickly. I think I have it lined up. Yep, here you have Haumea. Haumea with her two moons, and down here we have a I think there's an animation here. Yep. Oh, that's another one. Here it is. So Haumea rotates around itself every 4 hours. Extremely dynamic. Haumea takes 308 years to once circle the Sun, and it entered Scorpio in November 2022 for the first time. Anyway, just want to quickly show you. We'll make a video on Haumea very soon. Okay, this is another super interesting alignment here. The part of fortune, which is where things most easily manifest, what comes naturally into existence with Hygeia and Saturn here conjunct. It is coming to terms naturally with all the levels of health and well-being, which we have definitely been deprived on many levels. An understanding of what is healthy, what will be good for us, what not, all of that included, with that Taurian undertone, the dwad of Taurus here between 5 and 7:30 in Pisces. Lots of Taurian energy with this beautiful sextile from Jupiter and the square from the moon Saturn square, most exact here. Actually the moon is separating from the square, which is nice, which is good to see, but this is kind of a emotionally difficult energy, which naturally we will have to go through these through this phase, through these times when we have to come to terms what truly happened on this planet, what we were objected to for so long at such intensity. There will be a lot of grief and rage naturally, and all the dark emotions. These are definitely also very much painted here with that Saturn in Pisces, which I pointed out is that whole time between March 2023 and pretty much the end of 2025 for 2 years. We have to really come to terms with that collective karma. This is will be a theme for a while. Definitely for the time while Pluto will go through early Aquarius. Will take a few years to really digest and fully transmute. This is the blessing, the really big blessing that Venus here at the galactic center. The galactic center is probably the most powerful source of interstellar frequencies coming in. So much so that it was discovered because whenever that area of the sky was direct overhead, radio reception was getting blurry and white noise came in. So that's through that reason Sagittarius A, or the galactic center, that midpoint of our Milky Way, was discovered in 1932. That was. So this is a powerful frequency. Whenever a planet lines up with the galactic center, this planet is receiving that galactic energy and in that sense channeling it, emanating it. And as Venus is such a central force in what we are up to right now, of really bringing things into flowering, into manifestation, is that Taurian energy of reconnecting with nature, with the Taurus South Node, particularly for the next many months still. So at that time then, the North Node, you will see, will be in Aries. It is very clearly anchoring a new direction, and in that sense having all that cultural resources at the back as something to build on, but definitely go in a new direction with Chiron and Aries here. The one which exposes and brings it into the light, which is all that's necessary to get purified. We have to allow everything to come into our consciousness in order to reflect and look at it and come to terms with it and forgive it and let it go. It's as simple as that, because it's really, everything is perfect. It's just our attitude is the one which can change everything. Can sit with that. It is true. That is the biggest and probably the only real freedom we have in this whatever animation we are in. And it seems there is that aspect to it. We are vibrated in a big cymatic pattern. Yes, each grain of sand has its own freedom to dance within that limit of what the frequency allows. There is this wiggle room, and naturally the one thing which really matters is if we are just allowing to be vibrated and danced by the universe and go along with it, and that is changing everything when we can observe it from that perspective of let's just go with it, let's just go along and see where it leads. I guess that's the best we can do anyway. So this is the actually there's this little detail, as we talked of Pluto and Haumea. That was the degree where they had their last conjunction in 1955. But more on that, as I say in my next video on Haumea. Haumea is super powerful, super important. Haumea, reform, renewal, birth, rebirth. It's the goddess of giving birth. In that sense, Haumea also stands for that pain of delivery, of going through labor, of allowing to go through that stage. And naturally the big prize is at the end when the baby is born, and then it's worth all the pain. That's really the archetypal energy we see here at work. And Pluto with that square, which is going on between 2022 and 29 for, I guess, something like 13 times to have exact aspects. Again, their heliocentric square is in 2025, another pointer that this is the year where things really will be reshaped, most fundamentally then to be receiving at the other end of the tunnel by 2026. Anyway, but 2023 again is the real year of change. As I keep repeating myself, what is coming is just the final cleanup, before we can fully enter in the new into the new room. It's kind of still the kind of having to take care and clear up everything, and then we can leave it behind for good. Naturally, with all the memories and records, that things like that never will happen again. In that sense, we definitely will keep it as a valuable archive for the future to know what has been here before. So this is the heliocentric Aquarius ingress of Pluto then on the 22nd, and I don't want to go too deep into this chart. It's an amazing chart with the Jupiter-Mercury opposition here to start with. Sedna just having entered Gemini here heliocentrically. Actually, Sedna already will enter, as seen from Earth perspective, the new sign Gemini, which is super exciting by mid-June. Looking forward to that. Kind of becoming more vocal in a way, that its mysteries and secrets will become available and being communicated, revealed, written, spoken, whatnot, published, all that. I'm very much looking forward to this probably 40-year phase here with Sedna in Gemini. Sedna, by the way, comes in from an 11,400 year orbit around the Sun, will have its closest approach to the Sun in 2074, still 50 years away, somewhere here in the 10th degree of Cancer. Just so you get the full picture, this is an important source of information of what has been happening on this planet in a perfect, beautiful trine here with Pluto. Mars here in the first degree of Capricorn heliocentric, very beautiful, as in resonance here again with Pluto, and Sedna and Earth here in a yacht here with Earth, Sedna and Mars, 150 degree aspects, bringing Mars into a focal point at that first degree of Capricorn. Yes, this is a time of rebuilding. That's what it feels like with Ceres, Earth goddess Ceres here in the Aries section of Sagittarius. Lots of inspiration here, how to go along and really embody that love, that appreciation for what we feel for nature, because this is really how it expresses itself. It is the mother's love which flows through Ceres, that deep interconnection, which also at times naturally is bringing great grief. If we have that strong emotional bondage, then we are directly affected whenever something goes south. But Ceres, a water planet, pretty much the largest of the asteroid belt, a complete spherical body, has been upgraded, as you probably know, in 2006 to a minor planet. Yes, I guess that's what it was called. Anyway, I could keep on babbling here, but I want to make the connection to what's happening now, just to keep you excited here about the now point, which is always the most important, that we are ready to deal with what is now and just know that there's some great future ahead. It helps. It is what really pulls us into what is possible. We are pulled by the future. That's my strong belief. We have that our future selves, our future reality is literally empowering us to get going and to keep moving. And this is the link back here, which is that 7th degree Leo Aquarius axis, which we have in this chart here. 741 at the root point of the chart here, actually very exactly conjunct Varuna, which is the gold star of sincerity and of justice. I don't think I have to say much more on that. This is the base of what heliocentric Aquarius Pluto will express itself, with that total deep integrity of truth and nothing but truth and honesty and sincerity, and which means also to take care with whatever has been wrong in the right way. So you have this, what's here at the base of this chart. This is where it starts to be generated. Venus, Mars conjunction, heliocentric, very, very important. That is when Mars and Venus meet in the same place as seen from the Sun. You can think the Sun here is in the middle. Here is planet Earth. That is happening on the 22nd of April, just a few days away. Actually, this is the conclusive final touch to this upcoming eclipse, which is exact on the 19th, 20th of April. But there's a whole series of alignments which we will have in the next few days. Again, I will go through that in my next video. Just quickly saying, it is Mercury turning retrograde on the 21st. That is right after the eclipse, and then we have that Venus-Mars conjunction heliocentrically, which is really a new beginning in the 20th degree of Leo here. And this is the final little thing I wanted to give you, is the meaning of that 20th degree of Leo. So this is, just bear with me, here we have Sunni Indians perform a ritual to the sun. Beautiful picture as such. A ritual to the sun, and the sun representing cosmic intelligence, the sun being the source of all life in this solar system, on Earth particularly. If the sun would go out within 8 minutes, it would be completely dark. Within less than 24 hours, everything would be completely frozen. We are really on a lifeline here. We have to understand how powerful and important the sun is. So it is a return to the glorification of natural energies. That's really what our joker is, our ace up the sleeve is, that we are whole, empowered by nature itself, and if we truly understand that, then we link our energies with the body of Earth, It's this powerful meditation. You close your eyes and you just center in your heart and your breath, and you feel like a figure eight. Your energy and the energy of the earth is intermingling, and you are rebuilding the dragon lines of this planet, and we are overwriting the AI grid. That's basically in a nutshell what Jacqueline Hobbs is helping us to establish, this network of active practitioners who remodel the Earth's ley lines, you could call them. However, it's a total rewriting of these dragon lines, which are much older and which we are firing up in that sense, creating a climate for the lower frequency band to having to vanish, literally being pushed out of this frequency band. That's what's happening, what's going on. This is a great symbol for that, this 20th degree of Leo. Let me read you the whole small paragraph here. While the first, okay. Yeah, it's about return to nature. After having ruthlessly destroyed, we come to see nature as an example, as an exemplar of peaceful and harmonious group living. It's really that we have to learn again from nature and find that our analog alignment with reality, which is based on resonance and frequency, and which has that chaotic edge to it, which is totally missing in electronic music. That was the first thing which I recognized. I'm a musician, as you probably have learned already, maybe not, now you know. And in the 70s, 80s, when electronic music came out first, I loved it. It was beautiful, but there was something missing. It felt hollow. It was that whole spectrum of overtones which is missing. If you have a synthetic sound of a violin, of an organ, of whatnot, you can replicate the sound by adding these particular overtones to the prime frequency. Up to a certain degree you can enter 20 overtones, 50 overtones, depending on the size of your computer, but you can't put an indefinite number of overtones, and that is what truly is happening. It's infinity. I guess that's really putting it in a nutshell. That's the Achilles heel of AI, is it's limited, and we have infinity at our hands. Let's make best use of it. Again, thank you for joining, listening, and subscribe if you liked it, share it. And if you are one of my donors on Patreon, or what's it called again? PayPal. You find the link underneath. I very much appreciate that. Keeps me going. And you will find I will have to do many other things in the next few weeks. I will be very busy earning a living here, so I won't have that many opportunities to really record, but I definitely will keep at it. Again, thank you, and talk to you soon.